It's interesting. I've had a few conversations recently with CEOs who are intent on fixing their operating model. And the first question I ask is why? What's the motivation here? What kind of results are you trying to deliver differently? And oftentimes they'll say, well, look, I'm a new CEO. I want to shake up my team and redraw the org structure. That is, in fact, the wrong reason to think about operating model. Structure is an important element of an operating model, but it's not the only part. And I think people get overly obsessed with the boxes and the lines. And oftentimes, the teams that are looking at the operating model have a vested interest in whose name is in the boxes and lines. So if you start there, it can obscure getting at a lot of the value around the capabilities, how decisions are going to be made, and essentially the organization can grind to a halt. We like to thinking about structure at the end, once we figured out how capabilities are deployed, where the work is going to be done, then we can think about what's the appropriate structure to overlay on that work. Yeah, I think the approach that we have fine-tuned over time to developing operating model is heavily implementation focused. I think some of our competitors focus on the design aspect of the operating model, but they don't necessarily think through how well equipped is this particular organization to implement the model. So the focus is oftentimes on the structure and the roles, and less so on the leadership capabilities and the talent that's required to execute and operate well in the model. So I think a more holistic view and realistic picture of what it's going to take to implement the operating model is where I think we can add a lot of value to our clients who are thinking about going through a change like this.